The self-determination gained from practicing self-advocacy maintains recovery from an eating disorder and any other behavioral health issue. During times of stress, though, such as this COVID-19 pandemic, it can be hard to access this self-determination and other skills, even if it's something that we practice. My name is Jessica Scalzo with Compassionate Peer Counseling, a peer-run, peer counseling service for anyone working to recover from an eating disorder and related issues such as anxiety, depression, control, perfectionism, etc. I also work with athletes because I was a Division I competitive athlete, and I understand the intersection of eating disorders, athletics, striving to be excellent, and the pressures involved in that. Self-advocacy. This is the second video in a 3-part series about self-advocacy and its effects on recovery. I will link the first video right here. Check that out if you like. Just to go over the definition, to self-advocate is to speak on behalf of my needs and my wants. And this is important because it builds empowerment and self-determination. And I didn't go over self-determination in the last video, so I want to talk about it here. Self-determination is free choice of one's own states or actions without external compulsion. To give an example, let's say I have FOMO, which I do, fear of missing out. And let's say I think I'm having the thought that everyone is going to the beach. And I don't want to go to the beach. I want to stay home and read. That's meaningful to me in this moment. But I have fear of missing out and everybody's going in my mind, and I can come up with all these reasons that if I don't go, all these things are going to happen. People aren't going to like me. I'm not going to have any friends. I might miss something that happens and won't know what's going on, etc. We can all understand going off into our head and coming up with all these things that might happen. If I'm acting in a self-determined way, then I'm going to notice what's happening, I'm going to be noticing my fear of missing out, and I'm still going to make the choice to stay home and read because that is what I value in the moment. If I'm not acting in a self-determined way and I'm acting with more compulsion, then I'm going to let my fear drive my behavior. And I'm going to end up going to the beach even though I don't want to and it's not meaningful to me in this moment. I think that example paints how having empowerment and self-determination really helps with our recovery. Now, I can't say for sure that recovery is impossible without it because I don't think anything is impossible. I will say it's going to be very, very challenging if we cannot speak up for what is important to us and at least work to get our needs met. The cool thing about the process of self-advocacy, much like any process, is that we can practice it and it takes time. So patience is the name of the game. During this process of me learning and developing my self-advocacy skills, I may make the choice to go to the beach many, many times, and that's okay. I can notice it and I can learn from it. It's all part of the process. Let's bring in the COVID-19 example now and times of stress. As I was stating in my last video, I have a belief about the system that we're in. I don't really think it's a system that is caring towards people. But whether you believe that or you don't believe that, I think a lot of us would agree right now collectively that our system as it is stressed with this pandemic and that people are stressed. When the stress is happening, even if we already have some self-advocacy skills, it can be challenging to have access to them and to utilize them because we're stressed and the system is stressed. If I'm personally under stress it can be difficult for me to remember maybe what I want to say. Or if I remember, it can be hard for me maybe to get it out and deliver my message. When the system is stressed, things might be backlogged, resources and people might not be available, things may take a long time. And so these two things combined make it challenging and much harder to get our needs met and much harder to self-advocate. What can be important to help us self-advocate during stressful times is to remember what is the goal of self-advocacy and to always kind of keep that in the back of our mind so we stay focused. And the goal is to be heard and to get our needs met. And another thing that can be helpful during times of stress is to have a process and to have a kind of behind the scenes plan that we can work out and work through before we actually deliver our message. I want to leave with a quote that has really inspired me in a lot of things that I've done and I always keep in my mind. And that is, even if your voice shakes, speak the truth. And I say that to say that don't lose sight of the goal. The goal is not to have a voice that doesn't shake. No, the goal is to be heard and to get our needs met. So having a shaky voice or being scared is not a reason to avoid self-advocacy. In fact, if we can speak when our voice is shaking, and if we can self-advocate and speak for what we need when we're scared, that builds empowerment, self-determination, and confidence. In the next video, I'm going to go over the actual steps, the behind the scenes steps with the goal in mind of being heard and getting our needs met so that it can empower us to self-advocate and especially to self-advocate during times like this when we are stressed and the system is stressed, because it's going to take patience and it may take persistence. If you are interested in practicing self-advocacy and working on your recovery, or just having somebody support you in all of this, please reach out to me, Jessica Scalzo, at Compassionate Peer Counseling. It's www.compassionatepeercounseling.com. Thank you for your attention today. I appreciate it. And please stay tuned for the third video in this series about self-advocacy and recovery. Take care.